Welcome to War Games. We will get you ready for your next sales opportunity. Are you looking to win the sales battle? You have joined the right team. Here on the War Games Group, we take the strategies and mindsets from the most successful salespeople and share it with you. With our help, you won't have to fail your way to the top. When it comes to crossing the minefield of sales, step in the footprints of those that crossed before you. Prepare yourself for boot camp and beyond. It's time for War Games to begin.
Shall we play a game?
Welcome, War Gamers. Joe Ingram. I'm your host. I am excited today. We've got a lot of VIPs in the house, and we've also got the major VIP today, which is my friend Sharon Lechter. We're going to get to her in just 1 second. I want you guys to understand that I am thrilled because it is Sharon Lechter, and we've shared several stages before, and we have a lot of friends in common. Everybody knows that Sharon is the one that co-wrote with Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. She's also put out a fantastic book called Exit Rich, which I have right here. And I know that one of our VIPs, Natalie, said she read it in one night and then was skipping all over the place, emailing all of her clients because she's in the financial world. So I'm going to start bringing in some of our VIPs so we can line up the stage here. Welcome, VIPs. Coming on up. Look, there's everybody. Look at that. And then now it is my distinct pleasure to move all of you guys off to the side because we're going to bring up Sharon Lechter. So Sharon Lechter, woo! Let's do this one. Let's come over here like this. And I'll say, Sharon, could you switch with me? Because that'll be easier. There we go. That's much better.
Hi, Joe. I'm so delighted to be with you. Great group.
Yes, Sharon's tired of seeing me on every Instagram live she does when I go, Sharon, across the whole bottom of the page. She's like, that's Joe. We know. So, Sharon, welcome. Thank you so much for carving out some time today to come in and talk to the sales group that we have here, War Games. You are definitely appreciated.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be with you guys. I'm sure I could learn a few things from you as well. So,
yes, but we're going to leave it all up to you. Right? It's all going to be up to you. Now, you came up with your Exit Rich. I want to talk about that really quick, if you don't mind if we jump over. Now, my ultimate favorite is the one underneath it right there. I can see it. Okay, which is Outwitting the Devil. And so that's where she really became annoyed with me because I was always in the group with her and Lisa Copeland, who has been the trainer before here on War Games. But it was always in there because there's so much great stuff that you're sharing in there on that actual book. But let's talk about Exit Rich, because everybody that's on this page is entrepreneurial in spirit. Some of them are in sales and have no choice but to eat what they kill, kind of deal. And so I want to make sure that we get a chance to do this. So I'm going to throw a couple comments up because I looked up and said, we got 11 comments sitting out over there. Okay. We've got somebody who's hiding from you. That's how they want to be. So we've got a whole bunch of people that did not go to StreamYard.com and say Facebook and let them do it. Missy's out there saying hello. Good afternoon from Scott Ricard. Frank Ingram's out there. Everybody throw a couple well wishes out to my dad, who's actually out with Frank at a showing, but he had some issues with his heart recently. And so just send some good wishes and we'll get that taken care of. Robert Brooker's out there. Love it. Thanks, Robert, for joining us. Fantastic. Miss Sharon, I'll stop rambling because I really want to hear from you.
Well, thank you, Joe. And yes, I'm really very proud of what we're doing with Exit Rich. It was released last month, and we've been so fortunate that it got to the Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller list, 3 categories, #1 in Amazon. But most importantly, it really is such it's a treatise on how to build a business. So I ask all of you, you say you're a sales professional, but you're still creating your own business. And when you start your business, do you expect to work until the day you die? As choice A, or choice B, you want to build a foundation of financial confidence that creates financial freedom for you, your family, and that you end up getting your time back. B. Okay.
I want to
Everybody's
go
going to,
with B, Sharon.
yeah, everybody's going
I
to
think we
answer
all want
B,
to go with
right?
B. Yeah, I would
Then
hope
why aren't
so.
we
Because if
doing
not,
it?
get out of the group. Get out of the group if you're not. If
And
you
what
want to work till
happens
you
is
die, no.
we aren't taking the action to make that a reality because we're not building the foundation of our business. So Exit Rich is really shows you how to take a successful business, make it sustainable, make it scalable, and ultimately saleable. And how do you do that? By understanding the essence of building your business. Now, we talk about it a lot, but do you really own a business or do you own a job? Because if you haven't built the structure, you're not going to be able to have it saleable. And a lot of you think, let's compare a house. To have a strong home, you got to go down first for the foundation. You have to put in electric and plumbing systems, which are kind of boring unless you're a plumber and electrician. But then you have the home. And so the same thing in a business. You have to have the right legal structure, you have the right agreements, and you have to understand what you're doing. And particularly when you are in a commission perspective, it's very important to make sure you have the right agreements in place and that you create something that you can build upon so that you're not, if you don't get out of bed, you don't make money. So we want to make you create this business, this system that will allow you to build. So my partner, my
Sorry,
co-author.
I was on mute. I was going to say fantastic. I do love that. Yeah.
I saw you moving, but I wasn't sure. I
Yeah.
wasn't hearing you.
Yeah.
So my co-author is Michelle Sally Tucker, and she is the #1 female business broker in the country, mergers and acquisition specialist. And so she's very tactical about what you do and how you build it. And then I came in from a perspective of years of mentoring and building global brands, and then understanding from an investment. The book is Steve Forbes, my friend, says is a gold mine for entrepreneurs because it tells you how to build that business that can be scalable and saleable. And it's just been an incredible journey. We talk about the 6P system, which is the people in your business, and then your products. Of course, that's what most people think about, just the products. And then the processes, those business systems that create the value and allow your business to scale. And then your proprietary, and this is my superpower, that's your intellectual property, that intangible value that you have. And then your patrons, your database. And Joe, as you will know, you've probably heard me say this before. Most companies today are so excited because they have these big Instagram followers, Facebook, LinkedIn, and yet you don't own those names. So it's so important to invite them home to your database so that you can build your database because your database is a huge asset. And that asset can take you millions, 10x, 100x the value of your company because it's not a book value, it's an intangible value. That proprietary process, how you do things that are differently from someone else, adds value to your business, your competitive advantage. And then, of course, the last one's P, the last 6P is profits. And your profits, most people think about the product and the profits, but if your profits aren't where they need to be, then you probably have something missing in one of the other 6Ps. And so this is my 26th book, and yet it kind of brings everything together as it relates to building your business. And that's something that I think we've had such an incredible response to it because it kind of brings it down to allow you to look through it and say, how do I measure myself in each of these? Where do I need to work? Where do I need to look at it? Because over 80% of businesses that want to sell don't sell because they haven't structured themselves properly. They haven't dressed up for the party. They haven't made sure their agreement's in order. So we're out to change that so that people can add value. 40 years ago, Fortune 500 companies were 85% bricks and mortar, 15% intangible. Today, that's completely flipped. Almost close to 90% of Fortune 500 values today are intangible, 10% bricks and mortar. And that 90% is what levels the playing field for us because it's all up here, your intellectual property, building that goodwill, that reputation, that competitive advantage that gives you the value of your company. And that's where you really have to identify it. You have to identify that intangible asset, that intellectual property, and then you need to protect it so that you can leverage it. And that's something that I've done throughout my career. In fact, I can show you a little bit. Let me see if I can get up here and talk about um, what we do. Because every one of you, again, successful businesses solve a problem or serve a need. You just need to ask yourself, what is it that you're solving or serving? And that's what gets you through the bad days, gets you out of bed. And yes, I've written a lot of books. Most people think of me as an author, 5 New York Times bestsellers, but I really am an entrepreneur, and love being a mentor, helping other people build successful businesses. And I started my career as a CPA. I actually grew up in a house. I was a lived in a tiny house between my mom's beauty shop and my dad's used car lot. We and cleaned out um, rental properties between renters when I was 10. I swore I would never be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be a sophisticated professional, so I became one of the very first women CPAs in southeast United States back in the mid 70s. About the ripe old age of 25, I realized I was working really long hours and that I was working for someone else. All of a sudden, my parents started looking a whole lot smarter. So I made the decision to leave public accounting and start my entrepreneurial journey, and I've never looked back. But what happened was I had a client call me with an opportunity, and I went back to my apartment. We had the old pros and cons. Didn't help me a bit. I could argue both sides. And my hand kind of took off across the top of the page and said, why not? I want you all to write down, why not? Why not find that path less traveled? Why not do something other people don't do? Why not stand uniquely in your field? Why not create your own reputation, your own competitive advantage? And so I made the decision. It happened to be the worst business decision of my life, by the way. But if I hadn't made that decision, I wouldn't have met a young attorney named Michael Lechter, and we're celebrating 41 years of marriage. And Napoleon Hill says that every year, adversity comes a seed of an equal or greater benefit. Well, I got instant feedback. And so I ask you, everything that happens to us, every mistake, every occurrence, it does not define us. It just is an occurrence. And so many people, we define ourselves by the negativity that we have. And I started building businesses. I met the inventor of the first talking children's book. And I'm hoping you can see my screen. Tell me if you can.
We cannot see your screen yet, so
I
don't see it as an option.
Okay.
But Ken Walls does say the amazing Sharon Lechter. He threw that out there.
Well, the first talking children's book, the books that have the sound strips down the side. And in fact, I think I have one here on my desk. Do you see this? And this was.
Oh, yes.
This is when kids had no electronics, believe it or not. It was dinosaur days. And so I said, well, how can we get people to trust us? And we did something called aligning with little companies like Disney, Warner Brothers, Sesame Street. And that was what took us to the next level, that power of association that allowed us to make the imprint on the world, build that global brand. We went from 1 million to 9 to 23 to 52. That power of association. I learned so much about building businesses, but also understanding the mindset of the parent, understand the mindset of the consumer. And I think that's one of the biggest skills when you're in sales. And so we, in 4 years, we went to over 50 million in sales, sold that company. And my husband and I relocated here to Arizona with our kids. And my oldest son went off to college and got into credit card debt. I was so mad at him, but I was mad at myself because I thought I taught him about money. And that was December of 92. And that's when I dedicated the rest of my career to financial literacy and financial education. Started working with school systems, hence the white hair. If you've ever worked with school systems, you probably understand that. And we're continuing now to still try to get that changed. And fast forward a few years, my husband called me one day. Mike is an intellectual property attorney. This guy had come into his office with Bermuda shorts and a t-shirt, flip-flops, and with this idea for a board game called Cash Flow. And I met Robert Kiyosaki, the first beta test for the game Cash Flow. I was the only one that got out of the rat race. I volunteered to help him commercialize it because of the experience I had with the talking book company that also had games. And I helped him commercialize the game. And during that process, he told me he wanted to charge $200 for it. I said, that's kind of pricey. Maybe you should write a brochure. And so that was when he asked me to become his partner. We were partners for 10 years. And that little brochure we wrote was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Most people don't know
Oh,
that.
just that little thing? Yeah.
Yes, just this
That
little
little book?
thing. It was
Yeah.
written as a marketing tool. And the world said, we thought our brand was cash flow. All right. And this is where you have to pay attention to the market and the people.
Right.
Our brand is not cash flow. Our brand was Rich Dad. And that was the first, we thought, well, we'll write, a couple more books. Cash Flow Quadro, Rich Dad's Guide to Investing. No, people wanted more. So over our 10-year working relationships, we wrote 15 books together and ended up going over 100 countries, over 50 languages. Again, utilizing the sales techniques or the power of association to leverage what we created through the right markets, territories, languages, to be able to expand through the power of association. And it was an incredible journey. 2007, we'd been in a relationship for 10 years, and I decided we were no longer aligned in what we wanted to do. So I made the decision to leave, not knowing what was in front of me. And, I thought Rich Dad was my legacy. And I thought, gosh, now what's next? Sometimes you have to close a door for other doors to open in your life. And I share that story because people look and they, oh, you're so successful. No, sometimes we have things that stop us in our tracks. And I wasn't sure what was next, but I knew that I had made the right decision. And that's when I got the call from President Bush. And I served President Bush and President Obama on the first President's Advisory Council for Financial Literacy. Incredible opportunity. I wouldn't have had that call had I still been at Rich Dad. A few months later, I got the call from the Napoleon Hill Foundation. We know what was happening to the economy in 2008, and they asked me to step in and reinvigorate the teachings of Napoleon Hill. And what a journey that has been. We started with 3 Feet from Gold and then Outwitting the Devil, the book you referred, which was an incredible gift. Napoleon Hill, I'm sure all of you are aware of the book Think and Grow Rich that came out in 1937. And he was the ultimate in sales training, the ultimate salesman. And Think and Grow Rich, well over 100 million have been sold around the world. And he released it in 1937 after 25 years of working on it. And he was frustrated because he said, even though people know what to do to be successful, they don't do it. Anybody feel busted by that? And so in 1938, he sat down and he wrote this book called Outwitting the Devil. Now, the title scared his wife to death because she worked for the Presbyterian College and she forbid it to be published. And it got locked away in a vault for 73 years. So the month we released 3 Feet from Gold, Don Green, the head of the foundation, called me and said, I have this manuscript. I'm not quite sure what to do with it. And so he sent it to me. I ran over to the beach, which is where I do all my writing, and I read it in just a few short hours. I said, oh my gosh, this book needs to get out. It was typed on a manual typewriter, if you can imagine, 1930. It had handwritten notes from Napoleon Hill in the margins. And I felt like I was having a conversation with him.
I have goosebumps. That is so amazing. Oh, sorry.
Well, let me give you a few more goosebumps because those of you that are commenting that you've read it, on page 61 in the book, written in 1938, this is an interrogation of the devil, how he screws us up. And there's a question about, what kind of fear do you use the most? And he says, at one time or another, I'm going to combine the fear of death and the fear of poverty and bring man to his needs. Well, hello, pandemic. And until then, I had really thought the fear of criticism was the most pervasive one. And it's, I was rereading it, actually preparing for a talk like this, when I came across page 61 and I read it. And it did give me goosebumps because the book's been out for 10 years and it was written in 1938. But it's all about how we keep ourselves from creating success in our own lives. Whether you are the salesperson holding yourself back or whether you're talking to somebody on the other side of the table, getting to understand what their thought process is, understand what their financial values are. When it comes to money, we talk about money mindset. This is such an important concept. We're raised at a time where we hear money doesn't grow on trees, pinch your pennies, save for a rainy day. So we grow up with this money negative, money negative, money negative. So no wonder we end up developing this mindset of scarcity. And once we can recognize it, we can release it and start realizing that we truly live in a world of abundance. But that money mindset is important to understand yours, but it's also important to understand with the person you're talking to, a customer, as to where they're coming from, so you can speak to them the language they need to hear. Because sometimes they may be somebody that has an abundance mindset, but if they have a scarcity mindset, you want to go to where they are and help bring them to the level they need to be to make the right decision. And I've just been so honored to be able to do this, because I was raised in a house understanding the value of assets. My favorite word on earth. Everybody write down assets. Somebody put it in the chat, assets. And then write, assets are sexy. Because my biggest issue, I deal with salespeople.
Speaking my language.
Yes, salespeople all over the world. And there's a term, I want you to write this down, Henrys. Okay. Far too many salespeople are Henrys. High earners, not rich yet. High earners, not rich yet. Make a lot of money, spend a lot of money. I see a few people raising their hands. Yes. And I'm on a mission to take you from that position to financially free. And you are financially free when the income from your assets exceeds your monthly expenses. Now, the cash flow quadrant was the second book that I wrote. And it is basically on the left side is E and S for employees, self-employed, which is what school teaches us. That's what you do. You're working on your own. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid. The right side of the quadrant, B and I, business owner and investor. And that's where your money is working for you. That's where the assets are. Now, on the left side, as an employee or self-employed person, you're limited to how much money you can make, because there's only so many hours in the day, so many days in the week. On the right side is infinite. Assets. How many assets can you have? As many as you can get. And you are financially free when the income from your assets exceeds your monthly expenses. And it does not have to be millions of dollars. When I met Robert Kiyosaki, he lived in a two-bedroom condo. He had 2 small apartment complexes. He was making $100,000 a year in passive income. His annual expenses were $35,000. He was financially free. That's the message that I want people to hear. Understanding how to buy, build, and create assets for yourself and for the people that you work with, that you have, helping them see the opportunity they have to create. Because when it comes to money, you're either in control of your money or your money is in control of you. Now, I had a client a few years ago. She was a young gal. She was a salesperson, and she was in real estate sales. And she worked for her parents' firm, top earner. And yet, she says, they just don't treat me with respect. And so I said, well, let's turn what you know into intellectual property. Do you have buyers that ask you the same questions? And I want you all to be asking yourself this too. Yes. She rolls her eyes. I say, how about sellers? Do they ask you the same questions? Yes. I said, so let's take a little time and write some ebooks about the top 5 things you need to know as a buyer, 5 top things you need to know as a seller. And she was an action taker. Write that down, action taker. And she called me back about 6 months later, and she finished them. They were up, and she said, you wouldn't believe, I am now a regular on a local TV show on real estate. Nothing else changed. She just released these ebooks. Then she said, those old guys that used to pat me on the head as the kid, they are now coming to me, asking me for advice, asking me to use my book. And nothing changed except she took what she knew and created an asset. So I challenge each of you. How can you take what you know and create an asset? Because you are all experts. Say it with me. I am an expert. I don't see mouths moving. I am an expert.
I am an expert.
All right. And then I want you to change one word from an expert to the expert. I am the expert. Say it. I am the expert. And I want to help you go from the expert to the authority.
Woo!
Right. The authority.
Let's make Jaime say that. Let's make Jaime say that. Jaime?
I am the expert. I am.
No, you're the authority. She's going to move you up. I am
I
the
want you to
authority.
be the authority. You are the expert. I want you to be the authority, the one that people
Nice.
call and come to. Because that's
Fantastic.
how you start building reputation and that intangible asset, that competitive advantage I spoke about. This young girl who was top earner in her firm had no respect, and she flipped it in 6 months to a year. In a year, she had her own shows, and she was still the top earner, but she had elevated herself to becoming a recognized authority in her field. And so can you. It takes action. It takes understanding your competitive advantage and taking what you know and creating assets. Say it again, assets. It's just such a wonderful world. And the older we get, the sexier our assets become, because that's what gives you the life. That's what, when you talk about A, working till the day you die, or B, building something that's going to give you back your time and give you financial, that's the asset. And that's what you want to focus on. And those of you that might still be in a position of an employee, it's not what you do for your paycheck, it's what you do with your paycheck that determines your future. Your personal financial statement is your business. You're the CEO of your own life. And so every money that comes into your hand, every dollar, you can make a decision. Do you spend it, or do you reinvest it and create assets for yourself and your family? And that's such a critical issue, and we don't teach it in school. It's criminal. And so when you're thinking about your clients, if you're in a sales position, think about where they are in life. What, because when it comes to money, you're either in control of your money or money's in control of you. And what happens is we have these negative blocks, boulders that we talk about in Outwitting the Devil. And when you can determine how to find that pathway to them, to give them the opportunity to overcome those obstacles. And that's through understanding definiteness of purpose, finding out what is they passionate about, what do they want, understanding that self-discipline, how we get past that, and then learning from adversity, but also controlling your environment. Who do you hang out with? What do you listen? What do you read? And then controlling your time. You either spend your time or invest your time. I challenge you to start focusing on investing your time in buying, building, creating assets. And so as you continue on your journey, understanding the financial motivation for yourself and for your client is very important. Because if you have one money mindset and they have a different one, it's really hard to connect. You can learn.
So everybody on my show is a comedian, so I'm going to apologize now, but I had to put it up there. Amy hangs out with me. That's why she's such a mess. So it's true.
And I always say, turn your mess into a miracle, and then turn your miracle into your message.
I love that. Can I ask you a question? You've been phenomenal. Thank you very much, Edna, for sharing, and Ken. What I want to say to you is that you said we're going to change everything from I'm this person to I'm the expert to now I am the authority. What is Sharon Lechter the authority of?
I am the authority in helping people elevate themselves to the position of highest and greatest potential, and understanding how to learn the power of money and use it for their own benefit, but not just for financial benefit, but to make a contribution to the world.
And I want to point out to everybody who's on the screen here, there wasn't any hesitation. She didn't have to stop and go, oh, I'm the authority of, hold on, let me get it. Right? So that's, again, but when you are living, if you're living what it is you're teaching, it's so much easier to just go back, because you had to learn that yourself to move that way, right? Because I imagine leaving the rich dad, poor dad, where you said I had to jump out on my own, didn't know what to do, right? Everybody else is going to say you jumped out of the plane and you just kept flying. Right. You never had to use the chute.
Somebody upstairs had more in store for me. And, and that's my message in the last couple of years, Joe. A lot of people, we've all had something that stopped us in our tracks. It could have been a death, a divorce, a financial setback, an illness. Some of you may know I lost my youngest son 8.5 years ago, and I literally went into numb for several years, like living in neutral. Didn't have much highs, had a lot of lows. and almost thought about retiring. And I got a lot of pushback from family and friends. And I think I even heard my son in my ear saying, Mom, get over it. There's more for you to do. And that's when I launched the Play Big movement, which is a private Facebook group, free to join. Welcome everybody. Because I said, I'm going to get back out there again because I am still here for a reason. There's more for us to do. And so no matter what's impacted you, it has created who you are today. And whatever you've been through, you have survived, and you can help others going through it. And so learn from the past. I mean, I share a story that you're the driver in your own car. You have a huge windshield and go anywhere you want to. The rear view mirror is very small, simply to help you learn from the past, not to allow the past to define you. And you are the expert, and I want to support you in becoming the authority so that you can help others coming behind you to accelerate their pathway to success. And in doing, it's going to elevate your significance even more. And in the process, you're going to have created assets that will create financial freedom for you so you can do even more.
Can you tell us the group one more time? I know that Amy Lee's already like super fast and she's already put the link in there for it, but that way those that aren't actually able to click anything.
The Play Big movement, just look under the Play Big movement with Sharon Lechter. Fantastic. And then if you are looking for support in financial, I have a course. You guys can reach out to me at my website, SharonLechter.com. Email me at info@SharonLechter. I have created a course that is, there's several, but there's a money mastery course, which helps people go from being financially frustrated to financially competent. And then I have the Play Big course, and they're both available on the website. They're like $1,500. But when the pandemic hit, I took my money mastery course and I made it available to anyone for $79 because it gives you the tools to build your financial confidence and to create that understand how to get rid of bad debt, how to increase your revenue, how to start building assets. And so I slashed it to $79. You can go to mm.sharonlechter.com if you are looking at that special price. But
Amy Lee, you're going to take care of that? Amy Lee's going to type it for everybody in the group. But yes. And then
we don't advertise it anywhere. It's just, I was so angry with all the negativity around the world. People were so scared, not knowing what to do. And I know this can help people to really have that confidence. Too many people were scared to death, worried about money, worried about their life. And I wanted people to be able to take control and have the information they need. It's like a college course. It's 21 videos and workbooks. So it's not one of these, 2-hour things. It's a massive course, but it takes you through the process of taking control of your financial life.
You are amazing. So one of the comments from the invisible man, we like to call him, said Sharon is the expert, but that's our mutual friend, Bob Donnell.
Oh, Bob.
I love Bob is there. Yes. And so we're already here and we're going. We put a lot of stuff into the chat as well. So I want to thank you for your time. I don't want to go crazy, but I do know we've got some VIPs like Natalie, who read the entire Exit Rich book in one night. Okay. And just absolutely loved it. Michelle says Michelle Knows Money is on her actual name here in the program. So I think we should have a battle is what I'm thinking. We just throw you both in the ring.
I'm happy to answer any questions, Joe. Any questions.
Fantastic.
I'm open to support people in any way that I can.
Absolutely. Let's flip this around. Look, there's everybody. Okay. So my question to you guys, what questions do you have? For the VIPs, unmute yourself and let's ask a question. I'm going to say, Natalie, this is Sharon Lechter. Sharon Lechter, this is Natalie. So that way I've made the introduction. So it's there now. So.
Hi, Natalie.
Hi, Sharon.
Yes, if Natalie had a hero, it was Sharon Lechter.
Yes, I loved your book. I actually got the pre-order of it, and I finished it that night. I couldn't put it down. I was emailing people at 3 a.m. One of my biggest takeaways from the book was that it really stretched my vision of the possibilities of what the end can look like. That was the biggest thing, and that there was somebody who had actually created a paint by number to show us the way how to get there. Where it's like, here's the manual. This is why you do it. It's really not that challenging as long as you right? Play the way you're supposed to do it, right? Follow the rules of how you're supposed to do it. And then this is exactly how you create wealth. And I loved it because it's paint by number. So it just got me really excited about the possibilities for sure.
Well, I love that, Natalie. Thank you so much. I'd love for you to go to Amazon and post a review. We've got some incredible reviews, and that's wonderful. I don't think I've seen one that said paint by numbers. I like that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm going to go do that right now while she's still talking to you. And then I can be the first one to put out the paint by numbers. So, but does anybody else have a question for Sharon? Because let's be real. I will tell you, you threw everything else out there in this presentation. I'm so grateful. I was like, she just brought it today and put it out there. So again, Exit Rich.
Well, I actually had a PowerPoint too, Joe, but
but you are so much better than a PowerPoint. Yes. So, Amy Lee, you have a question?
Yeah, I actually wanted to make a comment. And then, first of all, it's so cool that you were talking about being a bestseller, because I wrote a kid's book and it became a bestseller yesterday. It was the first day. So wonderful. I've never really been able to relate to that. And yeah, so that was super cool. So it's right here. So if you want to
congratulations.
Thank you. But what I wanted to say was what really inspired me. So you and I, we've talked on Clubhouse and stuff, and I think you follow me, I follow you, all that stuff. But what really, really inspired me is that you're at that place in your career where you've done the things, and now you're kind of bringing back that elixir on the hero's journey. And it's really amazing to see someone who has already done all the things and still has that passion for helping people and for creating that wholeness, even when your own wholeness is as whole as it can be. I just want you to, I don't know if anybody's ever said that, but it's just really inspiring to know that there's a place, you know, when you get beyond, because I have little kids and stuff, but when you get beyond that, you still derive so much pleasure out of helping people where they are in their lives, in their milestones, and you get to like live that all over again. And so watching you have that enjoyment is just really amazing for me. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, thank you, Amy. The way you just described it is fabulous. I should have recorded it so I can say exactly what you just said, because it is. I have a client who I met through Clubhouse, and Barbara Majeski, and she says, I don't have to work, but there's still work to do. And I love that line. And it's something, you know, we've been financially free since I was 38, and it's been a long time ago. I'm 67 now. And I will tell you, in the last 4 months, I've launched 3 new companies, and I'm as excited about them as I was. And it's something that every day, if I find something that I know can help people build assets and financial wealth, I'm going to align with it. And it's something that allows people, because we don't know what we don't know. It's so important to surround yourself with people who can open doors for you. And, you know, I've been very blessed to be responsible and build several global brands, but I'm even more excited about the number of people I've helped build their global brands. And it's something that power of association. In 3 Feet from Gold, we released the personal success equation. So you can go to personalsuccessequation.com to download it. And it's about combining your passion and your talent. So for me, my passion was not what I loved. I was mad that we weren't teaching kids about money in school. And my talent was my years as an accountant and my years in publishing. So I could combine that. But most of us stop there thinking we have to do it all on our own. So that P+T is where we stop. But true success comes from times A, power of association. And I value my association with Joe. He's always supportive. I just absolutely, you know, he calls, he asks, I'll show up, because power of association and what helps us all get to the next level. And having people on your team who are strong where you are weak, having the right mentor. 77% of people agree mentors are important, only 37% have them. That's a problem. And so having people that can open doors for you, that can show you, they've been there and done that. And there's a difference between a mentor and a coach. Both are important. A coach keeps you accountable to a predetermined path. I'm actually a lousy coach. I am a great mentor. Mentors have been where you want to go. They can speed your pathway to success. And mentor steps into your world. And usually they see a greater future for you than you see for yourself. And they can open your eyes to the world of possibilities, similar to what Amy mentioned about reading the book. You see a greater potential. And that's what a mentor is. So that's passion plus talent times association times action. How many times do we know what we're supposed to do? We just don't do it. And then plus F, faith. Faith in yourself, faith in what you're doing. Going back to successful businesses solve a problem or serve a need. So when you don't want to get out of bed in the morning, you remind yourself what problem you're serving, what need you're serving. That gives you the energy to get out. And that helps me today. I know every call I get, every email, I see somebody's done something positive as a result of reading something or being inspired by something I've written, said, or done. Gives me the energy. It fills my cup to keep going. And that's that faith, that confidence. Now, when I start working with people, it's usually the power of association and that faith and confidence that need the most work. And they go hand in hand. When you have the right people around you and you have a bad day, they won't let you. They lift you back up. And so passion plus talent times association times action plus faith. So I tell you, I encourage all of you to go to personalsuccessequation.com and go through that worksheet to say where you need support. Figure out what actions you can take today to make tomorrow and every day after that better. Because that's what we're here to support you. And I want to be able to make those introductions. And so, as I said, I got involved in EXP, not because I want to sell real estate, but because I see the formula is one that helps real estate agents build wealth, build equity. I got involved in a company that I've mentored for 7 years called ULA that just launched an incredible online accountability tool that's fun, that takes, gives you one big life aspect, your fitness, your finance, your faith, your family, your field, your business, and making sure you create fun in your life as well. Love these guys. And then also, I just announced last week, Joe may not even know about this, a new joint venture with Cardone Ventures, where they're bringing my husband and I in as strategic advisors to help people in the area of intellectual property and licensing. We're having an event the 14th and 15th, 2-day mastermind, high level intensive. If you're interested, just reach out to me, info@Sharon Lechter. But all of these things they're getting me excited because I see the opportunity to share and to help people create that next level of success in their life.
That is amazing. And both Grant and Elena text me and asked, should they let you be part of it? And I told them yes. And so, okay, maybe not.
That too.
No, but I'm going to tell you right now, guys, this right here, I think you should write down. Sheila put it out there. Passion and talent times action times association plus your faith, right? You guys have to understand this. This is, when I look at this, I have to tell you, this is why I stalk Sharon. I'm sorry, but I do. If she's out there and she goes live on something, I'm there to say, okay, what can I learn from Sharon? Now, if I can't sit with Sharon in the same room and can't do it, then Sharon's done enough to put 26 different books out on the market to say, here, be mentored by me do it remotely, right? And that's what I look at and say, it's phenomenal. And to me, I'm so glad that you came on board. I don't know if does anybody else have a question? Because I want to make sure I'm respectful of Sharon's time as well, so that we don't run crazy on it. But
I just want to say thank you for, even Joe making me say I'm the expert in my field, because sometimes I don't think I am until I do stuff, and then people go, how did you know that? And I go, I've just been doing it for a while. And you making me say that makes me realize I do know what I'm doing, and I do know it well. But
and so often,
thank you.
Yeah, you're so right. We don't realize that we are experts because it's what we know. Doesn't everybody know what we know? No, they don't. And the fact that you have that opportunity to help other people accelerate their success makes you the expert on your way to becoming the authority. So, and I will tell you, for a long time, I was having a hard time saying I am the expert. I would say I'm pretty good at it. I'm pretty good at it, but I can honestly, with all of my heart, tell you that I am the authority on financial literacy and financial education. 10 years ago, I would have to start laughing after I said that. But I want you to have that confidence to know, and you need to earn the right. You need to basically be able to stay on the cutting edge of your field and share it and create the opportunity for others to learn from you.
And if you need to, you just giggle a little bit instead of laughing. That's how you know you're maturing and understanding your own definition. So, Brian, you got something? Am I going to make Sharon big and you're going to go do the facial analysis on her?
No, I wrote down all of the quotes she gave and I already put up on Instagram on stories because I thought it was valuable stuff. The whole assets are sexy, replace I'm an expert with I'm an authority. And then it's not what you do with your paycheck, it's not what you do for a paycheck, but what you do with a paycheck that matters. All great stuff.
Well, thank you, Brian. I appreciate that.
For Joe, that somebody used the word sexy on his podcast, like that right there.
Exactly.
Well, on my written communication, I make the S in sexy a $sign so that I don't get caught in spam. Just a hint.
Meta questions.
Lots of excellent information. I'm so grateful that you came. And, I've said this before, I hear you, but it needs to be absorbed. So we write it down, not make actions, just writing it and listening to it and then moving on. Nothing comes out of that. So taking it and actually using it, utilizing it, that's going to be the key. That's where we're going to have to work. Yes, I do use my notebook and write.
All this does is tell you write it down. So
yes,
I will tell you that Sharon and Angela in her office both have Clubhouse journals that I sent to them. So, but no, when you guys understand, it's about taking action. Michelle, say something to Sharon Lechter because she's on the same screen. You do share the Los Angeles Times things, kind of like I do over there, but.
Yeah, no, Sharon, you are a huge inspiration. So thank you, Joe, for allowing me to be here. And then Sharon, somebody whose passion is to educate and empower women in financial literacy. Just all the information you constantly are putting out, I'm picking up and just sharing with my clients. And, I definitely have a new level to hit of becoming the authority on financial literacy. So I'm going to be right there with you.
Well, I love it. We need more. We need many more authorities and out there sharing the word and giving the education. One of my soapboxes is we need to get it. If we truly want to level the playing field for every child, we have to get financial education in the school system. The term "the rich get richer, the poor get poorer" is because we aren't teaching it in school. And if we want every child to have equal opportunity, we will insist that we have a financial education in schools.
Absolutely. So I do appreciate you very much. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down. I want to say, Sharon Lechter, thank you so much for coming out. Anybody who has a business that you didn't realize when you started it, that you should have thought how to exit rich, needs to go and pick up the book. And that way you now can say, Sharon Lechter is my mentor. So go to exitrichbook.com, go there, click on it, get yourself a book, go bug Sharon. She said, go to mmsharonlechter.com. That'll get you the personalsuccessequation.com. Guys, do you see how much value she threw at you today? Yes. She said, send her an email at info@sharonlechter.com. Guys, she didn't even take it away. And what do I tell everybody that's on here? Every time I talk to you, I say, I introduce you to somebody in the group because I was introduced to Sharon through another group and I chose to be the stalker. Right. And I chose to create the relationship at that point. So it's up to you to continue the relationship going forward with Sharon. And she gave you her email. So.
This is Angela. You were just talking about Angela. She is. I wouldn't be who I am without her. And she's trying to tell me something. So
I'm trying to tell Sharon to tell everyone go to SharonLechter.com and there's a link to get the book right on her homepage and she'll sign it for you. You can't get that at ExitRichBook.com. You can get her to sign it for you.
But not the You want it on just the Sharon Lechter.
If you want the book, you can go to SharonLechter.com, order the book, and I'll autograph it for you. Yes. SharonLechter.com on book page, product page.
See, that's why we all need
this is my superpower right here. This is Angela.
Yes. This goes right back to the book I'm reading now, which is Who, Not How. Right? And it all talks about find the person that enjoys doing what you hate doing so that everybody goes and rises together. So that's what it is. So now Brian's already going to buy a
crash the party.
No, you're always welcome. You're always welcome. So Ken's talking about you, Angela, too.
Oh, thank you, Ken.
So, yep. So Flo said hi. Karen Toddy is really excited about that part. She's gasping. The laugh is always there. It's her profile picture. But yes. But fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Again, at the end of War Games, what am I going to tell everybody that's here, right? Go out
there
and sell something. Yes, get out there. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you, Ms. Sharon. Bye-bye. Bye.